Hello, my name's Louise Savage of Louise Savage Muses. Welcome to my channel if you're returning, and welcome if you've not joined me before. Oh my goodness, I'm not with it today. Recovering from a horrible cold. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. I'll try not to cough. Anyway, that's enough of the sympathy. So I thought I'd talk about my experience with the January prompt, because January's already kicked off as a fabulous reading month, I can't lie. We're only, what is it, the 9th or something as I'm recording. So I'm really pleased about that, very excited for all the wonderful books that I'm going to discover and hopefully chat to you lovely lot about over the next 12 months. But anyway, so the January prompt was to find a book that was blurbed by one of your favourite authors. And I thought this was a brilliant prompt. There were a few questions about, you know, how that might work. And I thought, oh, why are these people asking these questions? And then I tried to do it. Well, it's actually trickier than you'd think. And I think possibly some of you might think I've cheated. So I started off with the 10 books that I had selected as my favourites last year, my top 10 novels, and I thought there's bound to be something on the back of there. But of course, the other thing about this is that I want to use books that I already have. I don't want to buy any new books for these challenges. I want to try and use it as a way of, you know, exploring my own bookshelves further. So that proved a little bit difficult. One that did come up was Camilla Shamsi, actually. She's blurbed an awful lot. And I have got her latest novel, but I'm not quite ready to read it yet. I don't quite know why. So I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll look at some of the... I was in the mood for reading something a little bit different. That was part of the problem. So I suppose I was trying to shoehorn the prompt into reading for my mood. So I thought, well, what did I read last year that was a bit quirky and a bit different and a bit unusual? And in actual fact, I think I started this book the year before last. But I came across... Valeria Luiselli's Lost Children Archive, which was longlisted for the Women's Prize a couple of years ago, I think. And I read most of it then, but didn't finish it, and went back to it last year and really, really enjoyed it and thought it was a very unusual novel. Anyway, on the back of this, there is a quote from Max Porter. And I thought, aha, Max Porter. Now, despite the fact that I have been in possession of Lanny for a very, very long time, which is one of Max Porter's novels, and despite the fact that I've seen him perform at Cheltenham, I suddenly realised I hadn't actually got round to reading any of his books. So this seemed like a perfect opportunity. So he is on the blurb there. So I started to read this. Well, viewers, I started this morning and I've got about 20 pages left, if that, because in fact I've had to force myself to stop reading it to talk to you all, because I just am blown away by this. I knew it was wonderful. I knew people had raved about it, but it really is a very, very special piece of writing. To call it a novel in a way doesn't do it justice, and it raises all sorts of questions about where does poetry begin and novel writing begin. Where's the sort of, can you fuse the two? Well, people clearly do, you know. And I would say this is part poem, it's so lyrical the way that it's written, but also represents the very best of novelistic, is that a word, fiction. So I'm really, really glad that I came to it, and it's just been so right for my mood today. So what it does is it deals with the story of, well, first of all, it's set in a village not very far from London, and it could be any English village. There's a wood, I think it's called Hatchet Wood, and out of the wood emerges this creature person called Papa Toothwort, old Papa Toothwort. And he's kind of like a sort of mythical green man type figure, but completely real as you're reading it, and I love that. So you've got this kind of slightly spiritual, slightly very fantastical character who sort of, he basically enjoys listening into all the snippets of conversation of all the people in the contemporary, the village. The novel is set in contemporary times, but he's obviously been around for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. He refers to things like the Black Death in passing, etc., etc. So he seems to represent kind of the spirit of the village almost, or he represents some sort of historical and folkloric knowledge. And the way that he's described and written about is stunning. The things that he notices, the things that he loves, the things that he hates. And you start off with all these wispy snippets of conversation that he is party to. I don't know if you can see that, and it kind of drifts across the page. And to start with, it's a little bit bewildering, but you gradually realise you can almost, and it's without sort of any effort, you start to be able to separate them into different characters, some of them. And anyway, so we focus on him, but also the central characters, the sort of real world characters, if you like, are the mother and father of a little boy called Lanny. Now, Lanny is obviously the eponymous hero of the novel, and he's a very unusual, I'd say unusual, little boy. He's very imaginative, he's very creative, he's allowed to explore his parents. His mother's a failed actor. She's in the middle of writing a very sensational murder story. His father is a London commuter, obviously very wealthy, making money out of whatever, who knows. And you get the mother's and the father's perspectives on Lanny. And he's also, the mother cultivates a friendship with Mad Pete. Now, Mad Pete is an artist, and in the past he's been a very famous artist and made a lot of money out of his art. But he now lives in this village, a little bit recluse-like. People treat him with a little bit of suspicion because they don't know much about him. But she goes to ask him if he'll give up Lanny art lessons, because she realises that her little boy is unusual. And this is where, for me, the book is absolutely fascinating, because I have very strong views about childhood and about the way that we have restricted, I think, our children. Well, I say we, I wouldn't necessarily include myself in that. Because I think it's really important to allow kids to play, to get messy, to go off and explore nature without adults around, and to draw and create and do. And I think that, to me, in many ways, Lanny is a very normal child, but to the village and to his parents, he isn't. And I find all of that absolutely fascinating. So the character of Lanny is just beautiful. To me, he represents all that creative, wonderful, untamed, unfiltered energy that children's imaginations have. So I got very excited about his character. I don't think it's a spoiler to say that Lanny disappears. And then we have a real sort of, there's this kind of underlying sense of unease, I would say, anyway, right from the start, but it becomes a much, much, much darker story. And the impact of the disappearance on the community, and particularly the way that Max Porter handles the idea of gossip and sensationalism and nervousness around strangers and each other, I think is absolutely brilliant. The sort of disintegration of the mother and the father are so well written. So it's a novel that is completely rich in every possible way. There is a whole world in here. It's got a lot to say about the imagination and the creative process. I think it's got a lot to say about contemporary communities, but also about human nature and our suspicion of people who are different or who don't appear to fit in. And also about love and the nature of love, and how our relationships can make us feel tremendous guilt, and how we misjudge people. It's a really, really wise, wonderful read. So I really hope that you all find a wonderful novel like this to kickstart your prompts for 2023. I feel really lucky and blessed to have read this one. Anyway, hopefully my January, my month of reading in January will continue as positively as this. But this book is gonna soak into me, I know, for a very, very long time. So thank you, Max Porter. I know you're not watching, but I'm just so grateful to you for this beautiful, beautiful story. Yeah. Anyway, hopefully see you all soon. Bye.